One of my favorite things about doing this channel is that we watch a bunch of movies and then we sit down to review them just one after the other. No script, one takes, right off the top of our head, stream of consciousness. And Kaylee doesn't even remember half the movies we watched half the time. And I just hit her with them. And then you get to see a real natural reaction. Like you can see just the whole review in your face as I say the title. That's what's great. You're like, oh yeah. Or like, oh yeah. So watch your face for this one. Are you ready? Where the Devil Roams.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
I can't believe we watched so many movies.
Na 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 na. Da na na na. That's right, the new Addams Family movie. Not that Addams Family.
The other Addams.
A different Addams Family.
Yeah.
So this is from a family trio. Like technically a quad. What?
Quadro.
Quadro?
Quartet.
They've got Lulu Adams as well, who makes very small appearances in the last two movies they've done. But we got the primary mom, dad, and daughter.
Yeah.
And they make movies together. The last movie they made was a movie called
Hellbender.
Which we reviewed on here. And the one before that was The Deeper You Dig, which I don't remember if I reviewed. I think I did. It was before I met Kaylee or right around the time I met Kaylee. And I did like those movies, and I always thought that they showed promise, and they are super inspiring.
Yes.
For sure, because they are just this family of artists who band together to make these little indie project movies. Yeah. And I am just blown away by their talent because they write them, they direct them, they do the music for them, they act in them, they're their main characters. It's just incredible. Like, it's this really wild, incredible talent that I don't know many families that could do this. Oh my
God, they're insanely talented.
Yeah.
And we both, I mean, this film is for sure the best film that they've made.
Easily.
It was like astounding. All parts of it are like just wonderful.
Yeah.
You know, like the writing, the directing, the acting from everybody. The music in this is, I mean, I really loved the music in Hellbender, but it's phenomenal.
Much better.
It's so cool. And it's just, I was so into this film. I think that it's shot so artistically. I love the look of the film. I guess we should probably give a synopsis before we start talking about it, because I feel like I could
go right ahead. I always do them.
Oh, I always get nervous doing them. So this is about a family that works at a carny family that travels around with the carnival. And I don't know what else to say. I don't want to give away too much, but we follow them. They're poor.
They have an act that isn't really working.
Yeah.
And they desperately want their act to work. And they also, unfortunately, have some dark sides to them.
Yes.
But there's somebody else at the carnival who has the hit act. And he's getting it through supernatural means. And it's really just kind of like this, race to the top or race to the bottom, depending on which way you look at it. So I will say this. This film is definitely an acquired taste. This film is definitely not for everyone. I definitely think there's going to be a lot of people who think this is low budget, lame, art, like not pretentious. But I could see them saying it's pretentious drivel. But I didn't feel that way at all. But I did look at reviews on this, and from friends and from people, and mostly everybody did not like it.
Oh wow, that's
But there were definitely supporters as well, as there should be, because I think this is a phenomenal feat from an insanely talented family. And if any of you are watching, John, Zelda, Toby, any of you, don't listen.
Don't
Don't listen
listen
to
to
those
the
idiots.
haters.
This
This
movie's
is
awesome.
really
This is the
cool.
best thing that you guys have done, in our humble opinion, and I am a massive fan of this film.
Yes, me too.
But it does have a very low budget feel,
Mm-hmm.
and it is very artistic.
Mm-hmm.
It is a period piece, which is crazy that they went for that in this movie. Because just thinking back about The Deeper You Dig and how small that was, then moving on to Hellbender, which is a little bigger, but still pretty small.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, outside of like performances, I think everyone's good in this. I really like Zelda in this a lot. Her character only sings, which is cool and unique. But and you know what? This what it reminded me of course, is the show Carnival on HBO. That's definitely like a low budget carnival. Anyway, the thing that impressed me the most, outside of, I don't know what impressed me the most, but the thing that surprised me the most, I should say, because the music is awesome. I really love the music a lot. I really like the characters. I really like the writing, even whatever. But the thing that blew me away, that I was shocked at, was how insanely good and graphic the gore and practical effects are in this movie.
Yeah, it was really impressive because I just wasn't really expecting it. But for the budget and everything, I mean, but it's not even like it's not even for the budget. Like, not even like, oh, they have a low budget, they did the best. Like, it looks really good.
It's as good as any friggin' movie I've watched. Yeah. in horror.
Like, realistic. Like, there's a few shots too that are like hard to do. Like, people getting like stuff in their head and like, all kinds of stuff that like you're seeing it happen.
Yes.
So it was really impressive with that. And yeah, that was super cool.
Because, I mean, at the end of the day, if I had to put this into a category, it would be a period piece body horror.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's a lot of like limb horror in here, with hands and arms and fingers and whatever. And all of that shit is shown on screen without cutaways. And it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, whoever they hired to do their gore effects, phenomenal work here.
Yeah.
And the way they showcase it is, they don't shy away from it. It's a very like tough to look at, gruesome, graphic display of violence, but it's also a really beautiful film as well. It's very
it's like romantic, but not like,
no, what's that word? Go on.
It's surreal too. There's definitely some surrealism, but I think that it's a really cool stylized film. Like the carnival aspect of it, like the especially the period that it's in. I really enjoyed like the look of the carnival and all the other performers, and I like that the film, like the look of the film, kind of degrades over the length of the film.
Yeah, becomes older.
Yeah, which was really cool. But there's just so much. Like, it's so dark. It's such a dark movie, but you're really invested in the family and like their love for each other. It's really interesting because there's like very likable parts of them, and then there's other parts that are just kind of like scary. I guess mostly with one character in particular, but I don't know. It was really interesting.
If you are a fan and have been following their career, if you watch Deeper You Dig and we're like, oh, that was a pretty cool little indie, I can't wait to see what they do next. And then you watch Hellbender and you're like, oh wow, they upped their game, cool, I can't wait to see what they do next. You are not going to be disappointed.
Not at all.
If you are a fan of them, this is like their crowning achievement as of right now, and I am definitely at the point right now where I'm like, I can't wait to see what they do next.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't believe I can't think of the word. What's something that you would call like a fairy or something, like angelic, kind of like
ethereal.
Dang, I knew you'd come up with it.
It does have a really ethereal quality.
It does. Like, there's some great shots. Almost reminds me of like either like Smashing Pumpkins music videos or My Chemical Romance music
Yeah,
videos. It has a music video quality to it that I really enjoyed the
me
hell out
too.
of,
Me
because
too.
it is kind of shot like a music video
Yeah.
in a good amount of the scenes, especially with the ones when they're performing.
Yeah.
And it has that feel to it that
Yeah.
reminds me of like old Smashing Pumpkins or My Chemical Romance. Not in the music. The music is a little
Just in
different
the
than that,
look,
but in
just
the
in the look.
aesthetic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely it's like a dark fairy tale. That was something I was feeling throughout too.
Like the
But like
Tonight video from Smashing
mm,
Pumpkins, something like that.
mhm.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, I mean I think that's a good descriptor. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some inspiration from that, but yeah, the music is super cool. Instrumental and the vocal music, like the music that has lyrics, both of it, both of those
Yeah.
elements were really awesome. And yeah, I don't know. I was super into the film, super super into it, and I really want to see. I want them to make so much more because I feel like they just do so well together. And the mom, is it what's the mom's name?
Toby.
Toby.
Toby Poser. She
I
actually doesn't have the last name Adams.
she like is such a phenomenal actress, especially in this. I was really blown away by her. I feel like her character, I just think she did such a great job portraying her character in this, and I don't know. They're just all, but they're all wonderful. All
Yeah.
of them are wonderful. The dad, the daughter, like everybody.
Zelda was a little bit more of a standout for me in this.
Mm,
But I agree. I think Toby is great. I think that John is great as well.
awesome. Just really
Um,
great.
and those are your main focuses, and yeah, it does try to match that kind of cinema of the 20s, or like the era in which it's set.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like an ambiguous era. I think it's supposed to be like the 20s, the roaring 20s.
Mm-hmm.
um and there are certain things you can be on board with at first, but as the movie degrades, as the quality of film itself and the
Mm-hmm.
characters degrade, the more like forgiving you are of despicable acts.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, also the other characters, like side characters, I also liked everybody else's performance too. I feel like nobody made it, you know, nobody's performance was so amateur that you're like they're, you
No.
know, like I think everybody had like the same kind of level and just, yeah, super cool, super unique. Ending was like very, very
Oh yeah.
memorable, super memorable, and very like ambitious, I guess you could say. Very interesting, but it works. It works really well for
It's
the story, and like the shot itself like works really well.
it's shocking and daring,
Yeah,
and I definitely
shocking is the word I was looking for.
I'm
It's a
definitely
shock.
looking to the filmmakers just a bit, just because I know they are a family, and I know that it's a mom, daughter, and a father trio. Um, I would definitely be curious on how that shot was done. Um,
Yeah.
I don't care. It's art, and I think it's great, and I think it's a really impactful
Yes,
image.
it is.
But I definitely would be like, um, I would be nervous with my daughters putting an ending like that on film. If Yeah, I can't really say much. I don't want to
We
say
can't give
anything, but
anything
you'll
away.
see when you see it in the end and be like, if I was a father, would I do that scene with my family and then put it out to the public, knowing that my daughter is also the writer and director, and was working on the editing and definitely watched the movie and was there? I'd be like, I don't know. But I loved it.
I loved it too. I thought it was awesome, awesome film.
I do want to say, okay, so the film I would probably compare it the most to of things that I've seen is The Devil's Carnival.
Hmm.
And it also, just for last bit of context here, it does 100% have a very low budget feel to it. So I don't want you to go into it expecting it to feel like, a high budget film. It doesn't. It very much has it, but that's the charm
Yeah.
as well. I love that it feels like it was made by a family who just wants to put out what they want to put out, and maybe doesn't have the money, but is somehow still able to achieve so much with so little.
Yeah.
It's like the little movie that could. that's what I love about this film. It reminds me of Moon Garden, which we watched earlier this year, which is another huge recommendation.
Yes.
If you love those really low budget, the other movie that we love that we talk about all the time, The Evil Within,
yes,
stuff like that, that has
a
this super low budget feel to it,
yeah.
but it's like, it's so imaginative.
Yes, so
like,
imaginative and creative.
You watch some of these big blockbuster movies that are so soulless.
Yes.
And don't get me wrong, I love tons of big budget movies.
Yeah.
I'm not the kind of guy that's like, indie's the way and the only way, and only like indie filmmakers and auteurs are the only ones to watch. Fuck that. I love the MCU. I love all sorts of Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and all that shit. So I'm not someone who's like completely opposed to Hollywood by any means, but I've watched movies like The Jungle Cruise or something like that, and I'm just like, this is literally just a vessel for The Rock to sell shit and like be a movie star. I just watched Patrick H. Williams videos on Ryan Reynolds and The Rock today, if you can't tell. But I'm, movies like Red Notice or whatever, these movies that have like $200 million budgets, and they literally have nothing to say. They are literally just products to put good-looking people like Gal Gadot and freaking The Rock and Ryan Reynolds on screen so that people can ogle them and press play and then not think for about an hour or two. And it's like, I don't know, those movies are soulless. They literally are products. They are there to sell shit to you. And then you watch this, and this is a passion project by insanely talented, passionate people who you really want to succeed. I really want this movie to be loved. I really want to meet these people at a freaking con and tell them and shake their hand and be like, I don't go up to anybody at cons. No. We go to cons and I'm like, oh, there's people that I've seen 100 movies of and I respect them. But people like this, for some reason, these little movies, the little Thomas the Tank Engine kind of shit, the little engine that could. There's something about these movies that are so fucking inspiring to me.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm just like, man, we did so much with nothing.
Yes.
How are you so fucking talented, and why am I such a loser?
It's so talented. It's great.
So yeah, huge recommendation if you saw their other stuff or if you like low budget films. And I don't know. Maybe you'll come back and be like, this is pretentious garbage. And that's your opinion, man.
Yeah.
Well, but I loved it.
Me too.
Congrats to the Adams/Poser family. You guys are amazing. Yeah. And you are inspiring. Making stuff. And please continue. I don't care what anyone says about this movie. They're wrong. Those are your rules. Continue. Yeah. All right.
Bye.